back to Third Phase of Moon. Blake Cousins, along with you-know-who, Dr. Stephen Greer, right here in Washington, D.C.
Here we are.
We made it, and we've got a lot of things to talk about in today's episode. Thanks for joining us.
Sure.
First off, our new documentary is about to drop, Battle for Disclosure. It's going to be available worldwide. We were here late last year with regards to the whistleblowers, the National Press Club. So much information has dropped, and we're excited to put this documentary out. What do you think people are going to take away from it?
Well, I hope what people take away is that the process of what's going on in Washington on this issue is a very small tip of the iceberg. And what you're seeing in the mainstream media and so far in any hearings hasn't even gotten to the main event. Now, you know from the people that I had there and the other people I've talked about and are bringing forward that it's way past secondhand whistleblowers like David Grush. It's going to be people who are actually the direct firsthand folks.
The documentary, the information in there is pretty mind-blowing with regards to weapons at the North Pole, secret reverse engineered craft, even covert drug running programs with unknown UAPs.
Well, worse than the covert drug running programs are the human trafficking going on by these UAP systems. And those are the ones that when Michael Herrera, the Marine, saw that, the crate, it turns out, a man surfaced and came to the meeting that you were at, who is very high up in the system. And he has been involved actively for years in programs where they go to impoverished areas and basically kidnap people to put them into these experimental programs, and they're trafficking them often on the man-made UAPs, like that big circular one that Herrera saw. Now, sometimes they're trafficked conventionally with helos, helicopters, and what have you, but those are used in UFO tracking programs. This is bizarre stuff. And they basically turn these people into bio machines interfacing with technology and with certain drugs to make something happen that I refer to as hacking into the guidance and control systems of ET vehicles and bringing them in so we can hit them, kill them. And sounds like science fiction. It's not. I've known about this since the 90s, and I don't know how far back that program goes, but the man that's involved, who has been running some of these operations intimately, I have been at his facilities, I've been in his chopper, I've flown over the sites where this is happening, and these are called P3 assets. And the P3 assets are the people trained to be able to do this, but it involves transporting these folks who from very impoverished areas or areas where there's been all kinds of disasters are offered, you want a way out, come with us. And they do. And the ones that aren't, most of them end up dying in these experiments. The ones that live end up being very accomplished at doing the hacking into the ET guidance systems. Which, by the way, everyone's laughs at me about this. Especially I call it the brain dead, kick the tire UFO crowd. And we're talking low information people. Very low information. Interstellar civilizations are not using a speed of light guidance system, right? You're going beyond the speed of light.
Thought process.
They're using the consciousness field and thought interfacing with very refined trans-dimensional electronics to guide and go. Now, if you end up figuring out how to hack into that, you can actually take over that system. That's what's been going on. I always tell people these crash retrievals aren't happening because people are coming from another star system and can't navigate over the desert of California. This is foolishness. So, and I've known this since 1990. Now this is going to come out. the group that's wanting to defect has all that information and the retrievals and the bodies in the craft. But they have this key point. And they said this is why, interestingly, in 1992, when I first came out and started talking about this stuff, we were doing CE5 contact. By the way, those of you who want to come, in Temecula, California, we're going to do a whole Friday, Saturday, Sunday, not under the whole weekend under the stars in Temecula at a winery out in the hills outside Temecula, California. So those of you who want to come, we just announced that. And so if you can come there in person, I think we can hold 500 people there, but you can also be on virtually. And just go to our website and you'll see it. You can register.
Yeah, we'll put that in.
It's in July, late July of this year. So, but all these guys, the reason they realized that our group knew what we were talking about was this trans-dimensional conscious interface part of it. The part that gets me the most ridicule and the most defamation, because it's not, let's kick the tires of this, which, look, I mean, if these things were just advanced versions of a 747 or even an anti-grav thing, but you're talking interstellar capable communication and travel. You simply are not going to be just using what everyone in physics thinks is legitimate.
And you're talking about a possible hijack from somebody rogue.
Yes, this is a rogue covert group capable of hacking into those systems, pulling them into 3D over a black site and hitting them. The people who are the operators are basically controlled by the ones in the command center. All right, okay. So A controls B that controls C. In other words, the controllers are not the P3 operators. The P3 operators are virtually enslaved but have been trained and used to do this. And those then can then hack in and control that craft. So it's not 100%, but it's pretty damn good.
Well, it sounds like a pretty sophisticated, probably millions and millions of years old of technology that's being maybe manipulated.
Yeah, well, think about it. We started acquiring, at the minimum, ET craft somewhere 20s to 40s, and maybe earlier, late 1800s. We started studying this stuff, 100 years ago, right? So you figure all that R&D, classified, secret, what kind of breakthroughs have they had? Now, everyone always talks about zero-point energy propulsion. They don't talk about this stuff, because this stuff sounds like crazy tinfoil hat, whatever, right? It isn't. It's only that to people who are not well educated about the science of consciousness, the physics of it, and what have you. So that's another big gap in the public understanding of this, because everybody are still living in the 20th century era of electromagnetics. And they think this is just a slight refinement ahead of normal electromagnetic theory and physics. No, it's a huge quantum leap into a whole area of physics that involves trans-dimensional, things that go between dimensions, that involve thought, consciousness, all of this. And this is something which most senior people in these covert programs, the reason they've always approached me, and I quite frankly, very respectfully, is that they know I know this. And they know that no one else is talking about. This is the key secret thing. This is the secret ingredient everyone's ignoring, because they don't have the ability, I guess abstractly, to visualize this. I wish I had a good special effects person who could do this, here, because here's what's going on at these black sites, right? And how they operate and how they train these people. So it's sort of like a weaponized version of CE5 contact, which is very sad, actually.
It's scary, actually.
It's very scary, very sad. Well, they're killing all these innocent ET people also. It's a monstrous program, absolutely monstrous. And to make it worse, if they're at a black site and they put up a temporary flight restriction over that site to do these operations, if a civilian plane crosses in there, they hit that plane and kill everyone on board, humans.
We've been working over the past 4 months, and it's kind of a project parallel universe of what's going on in today's world with UAPs, rogue corporations, technology. And we came up with a comic book. It's called Battle for Disclosure. We've got 2 issues. We've got
2 issues.
Specimen 95 and Air Force One down. I think we gave you the first issue just moments ago. I think we're having fun with the topic, but then again, we want to be grounded in reality.
Yeah.
And one of our favorite doctors right here, Dr. Greer, makes an appearance in the comic book, and it's available right now. What were you thinking?
Oh, do I? I'm in the book.
Yeah, you're in it. What do you think of the thought process of bringing comics, maybe create a younger generation more to get more involved
I
with
think
it?
it's great to engage people who are younger in this in a way that works in some of the facts of it. I will, full disclosure, even as a kid, I hated comic books. I always thought anything animated, like, I thought was cheesy and stupid. And I'm talking when I was 5, 6, 7 years old. So I'm not a comic book guy, but I understand it's a big deal for people who are, and that's different strokes for different folks. But yeah, I think it's a great way to reach a certain demographic that want to know and are open-minded. Because I think younger people are almost always much more open-minded than older people. Their minds are more flexible. They're more willing to learn new things. So I think it's great to introduce the facts of this through anything we can. And so that's...
Yeah, it's actually quite fun. Brent, my brother, he's the artist, and Paul Asteria and myself, we kind of like fill in the bubbles and create the story. And we take a lot of the storytelling from the people that we watch in the world, such as yourself. So it's a neat story of, the whole big picture, and it's kind of a battle for disclosure. We've got a trailer for you to take a look at right now. Let's just roll that trailer, guys. Take a look at this, Battle for Disclosure.
Here in Washington, it's 3 p.m. We're following a developing story. Could the military patrol the streets?
Well, you don't just have $2, $3, $10 trillion vanish.
We've given so far $171 billion.
Most of the work being done on this are private corporations. Call this a hybrid entity that's neither strictly government nor strictly private. If these are extraterrestrials or real and they're getting here from another star system, they're not using 20th century or early 21st century technology. People at the CIA call it WSFM, weird science and frickin' magic.
All right, you just watched the trailer for the first issue, Battle for Disclosure. It's available right now on Amazon, Kindle. You could get the hard copy or the digital copy, but it's quite interesting. We actually just finished just days ago. It's available right now as well.
Yeah.
The second issue, Battle for Disclosure, Air Force Down, and again, it's available right now. It's exciting because you could kind of like go into a direction that's not quite, grounded in reality, but take it to a whole new level and almost make it like a big budget movie. We're kind of trying to make it look like it's bigger than life, and it's a lot of fun. But taking the inspiration of things that you say, you could almost feel the characters come off the pages when we watch these documentaries that you're in as well. It's a really fun project, but again,
well, actually, I always tell people you wouldn't have to put anything fictional in if you understand the whole story of the fact, because the facts of this are more interesting than any fictional narrative. And so at some point you could do a series where everything portrayed in it is true, but you'd have to know enough to put in the really amazing shit like that, excuse my language. So.
Yeah, we try to base it in reality, and I think when people read this, they're going to enjoy it, but also have a fun thrill ride like you're going to a big blockbuster movie. But again, it seems real, and I think a lot of it mirrors what's really going on in today's world, no doubt about it. And we're excited about putting out these issues, Battle for Disclosure. But again, our documentary is about to drop, and that's going to be a world shaker as well.
They're going to come out.
We're still working on the exact date. we have a new distributor called
Right.
Ad Astra. They're
Right.
working the trailer right now. The poster has been selected. I think we've all kind of selected the poster. It's looking pretty good, and we're excited.
Good.
You know, it's been a big year. I know you've been through some things yourself. You know, is there anything you want to tell the people? I know you're going to have this data drop coming up, and
Yeah,
then
that's going to be a massive
the Temecula.
event.
You're going to have this event. What's going on right now in DC?
Yeah, I'm here because I've been having meetings with some of the new people who are been brought in for Senate Intelligence and National Security Council staff and House Oversight Committee. And you know, the big question right now is, are they going to proceed with open hearings, not in a SCIF, not in a secret setting, under subpoena? And I have some new witnesses and whistleblowers who don't need a subpoena, but there are a bunch that do, right? And there are some that won't be on even my subpoena list because they're helping from inside, and I've been informed that their entire families would be killed if they were put under subpoena and testified. So I have to make that call. I mean, obviously, the term that's used is I hold my own clearances, which means what the information I have, I determine who I think should, and it's based on the objectives, but in a way that doesn't harm anyone unnecessarily. So there are certain individuals that will be held back until a certain point reaches, and then I think they will come forward. But if they come forward, then it is game over. I mean, at that point, it's done.
You know, a lot of things going on. I know you're super busy. We're actually working on a documentary while we're here in DC, and that's going to be coming out here probably later this year. But, you know, a lot on the table. We're trying our best to get to disclosure. I think disclosure's already been proven, but I think we need to get these politicians to wake up.
Look, our intelligence archive, we call it the DPIA, Disclosure Project Intelligence Archive. The DPIA is going to be the disclosure. If there were 3 years, 5 days a week, all day long of hearings on Capitol Hill, there wouldn't be more information come out. That's what's going to be in this. That's what's going to be in this.
Decades and decades of information that the world hasn't seen. So it's going to be
34 years.
34 years of info
Collected
that you've been
stuff.
talking about, but now you're bringing forth the evidence too. It's been collecting a lot.
Yeah, and I'm getting older. You know, I mean, this thing where I was almost
time to
killed.
get it out,
there's
right?
the south lawn of the White House right there.
We're right here. There's the White House.
Through there is the
Mr.
the
President, do you
portico.
see us? Hey, wake up. Give us disclosure. You know, tell us the Tic Tacs ours. We need to get around the world a little faster. Dr. Greer, it was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Seeing
It was
you
fun.
again.
Yeah, thanks for
And,
coming to
you know,
DC.
it's been quite amazing.
It's always good to see you when you guys come in.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, it's a good time hanging out with the doctor. He has all kinds of fun jokes as well. But
Yeah.
hey, guys, if you
Have
like,
to be unplugged to hear all the
a little bit of
inappropriate and expletive deleted. But,
we got it. We'll expose it one of these days. But you know, it's been fun. Appreciate it. Hey guys,
we have fun.
We do. We have fun. We laugh.
Yep.
Yeah, there's not much more that you can do.
Hey, you
in
better
life,
have a
right?
sense of humor. It's like as an emergency doctor, I tell people, if you didn't have a sense of humor, you're going to eat your gun. Right? I mean, so you know, you have to. If you don't have a sense of humor, you're dead.
Yeah, even in this field, it gets heavy duty.
It is very heavy duty. It sure is.
All right, guys, everybody, keep your eyes on the skies. Be safe out there. Blake Cousins, along with my brother Brent and Paula, be safe. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Here in Washington, it's 3 p.m. We're following a developing story. Could the military patrol the streets?
Well, you don't just have $2, $3, $10 trillion vanish.
We've given so far $171 billion.
Most of the work being done on this are private corporations. Call this a hybrid entity that's neither strictly government nor strictly private. If these are extraterrestrials or real and they're getting here from another star system, they're not using 20th century or early 21st century technology. CIA call it WSFM, weird science and frickin' magic.